I am back. Okay, y'all. So I am about to share this interesting thing that happened to me this morning. Today, or the last Saturday of every month, I try to host a women's Bible study. And so the name of the women's Bible study is Grounded by Faith. And as I was getting ready to head to the event, I had to stop by the Dollar General to pick up, like some plates, cups, cutlery, things of that nature. And then I was going to be on my way. And so, interestingly enough, I get there, and as I pull into the parking lot, another older gentleman pulls into the parking lot around the same time that I do. And so here we go. We pull into the parking lot, and then we also happen to get out of our vehicles at the same time as well. So as we get out, we both start walking toward the door. And so in my mind, I'm like, okay, we're going at the same pace. We're going to get there at the same time. But I don't want to do that. So I start to pick up, a little bit of speed to try to get there before he does. Well, then I noticed that as I picked up, my pace, he picked up his. And so I just kind of looked at him, the corner of my eye, like, really, it's this early Saturday morning. This is what we doing. And so then I was like, okay, fine, I'm going to pick up my pace a little bit more. And so that's what I did. But then he does it too. So then I don't side at him anymore. I look directly at him, and, I'm trying to walk. And so finally I just stopped. Came to a slow walk, and then I just stopped walking. And so once I stopped walking, he went ahead and, went really quickly to the door. And he gets to the door and he opens it, and he stands there and he waits for me, to get to the door so that I can walk through. And the gentleman is a Latinx gentleman, like I said, older, and so he says something in Spanish, but I know it was pertaining to the door. So it was my assumption that he probably noticed my hesitancy, like when we were walking together, or that interaction, and had said something about probably just getting the door for me. And so I thanked him, and I just went on about, my business, got what I needed, and then left. And so I just kind of chuckled to myself because the whole discussion, or the whole topic of the Bible study, was about waiting and trusting God in the uncertainties of life. And so I just thought that it was funny that on my way to Bible study to talk about waiting and trusting God in the uncertain moments, that I would have this quick interaction with this gentleman. And so I just chuckled. And as I'm driving to Bible study, God dropped in my spirit just even using that very quick, very simple situation as a way to speak to me about the importance of waiting. And so I just wanted to share three of those insights that I gained just from that interaction. So the first thing is that when we are walking through life, we have to be willing to trust in God's timing. And so just as I was trying to hurry and quicken my pace to get to the door first, we as people often rush ahead in life trying to get make things happen on our own. But God's plans always unfold exactly how they're supposed to unfold. They always come to fruition in a perfect way. And so when we take the opportunity to trust in God and to have faith in Him and wait on His timing, everything aligns perfectly. And Ecclesiastes 3:1 says, for everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. And so when we are willing to truly surrender control and allow God to move in the way that He knows best, He will deliver. He will give us the desires of our heart. Now, it may not always look like what we expect it to look like, or the process may not always feel good or look like what we expect it to look like, but his timing is always perfect. The second thing that I learned from this particular incident that took place today is to remember to pause and let God lead. So when I took the opportunity in that moment to slow down and I allowed the gentleman to go ahead and go ahead of me, he opened the door for me. And God does the same thing. So when we allow ourselves to slow down and to be still, God will open doors of opportunity and open doors of blessings for us when we make the conscious effort to rely on Him. And so, even when we don't fully understand his ways and we really don't see what is coming or what's happening, we can trust and know that God is working all things together for our good. In Revelation 3:8, it says, I've placed before you an open door that no one can shut. So, when we allow God to go ahead of us instead of us rushing the process, he's able to open doors that we could never open. And the third thing that I learned from that situation is that God will open the door for you. Um, you know what? I kind of went backwards. So, but yeah, God will open the door for you. But you also have to pause and let God lead. So when I made the opportunity to slow down, I allowed the gentleman to go ahead. I allowed him to open that door. So when we surrender our control, we give God that space to lead us into what he's prepared. And so the scripture Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." So I kind of got the points mixed up a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's still the same. When we trust in God's timing, when we pause and let go and let God lead, God is ultimately going to open doors for us. We just have to be willing to notice exactly what we are doing in that moment and stop and pause and wait and stop and slow down, or whatever God has called us to do in this particular season, and know that whatever's coming on the other side of our wait or the other side of us being still, God is going to open that door for us, whether that's a door to a new career, a new relationship, a new any kind of new opportunity that he has in store for you. So if we are willing to sit back and really trust the wait and not move in our own accord, then beautiful things can happen. So those are my 3 points, and just a reminder that God does open doors if we will trust his timing, pause and let him lead, and then allow that door and allow him to open that door for us. So you all have a wonderful evening and have an amazing Sunday and going into your next week. Oh, and happy Thanksgiving if I'm not on before then. Good night.